So, homeowners insurance and the dog breeds you pick. So, a lot of people might not understand that, owning a dog is a huge responsibility. Besides, feeding it, walking it, taking it to the vet. One of the big things that I deal with a lot of the times as an animal control officer is a homeowner's insurance and lawsuit. A lot of homeowners insurance companies will have to be the people to deal with the brunt of a financial lawsuit if your dog gets out and hurts somebody. So a lot of the times when I do a bite case, the attorneys for the victims go and request a copy of the report. That way they can get a copy of the person that owns the dog, the address where they live, all those details. And why? It's because they want to sue the person for the possible property damage, physical damage to them, and or they're going to try to go for any sort of like mental damage that the attack caused. A lot of times when we're talking about property damage, it's the victim's dog that was attacked and could have racked up, up to like $10,000 in vet bills. Seen it before. I think the highest I've ever seen is about 15,000 on one dog that luckily survived. But that now falls on the dog owner. And a lot of the times, the dog owners, like most people, aren't going to have about $15,000 cash just to hand over. And the victims are going to have to go somewhere and get this money. And a lot of times, they'll sue the homeowner's insurance. So, this Forbes article that recently came out in October of 2023 actually has some of the top breeds that are banned from a lot of insurance companies. So on the top of the list, we have the Doberman Pinscher, which I don't really actually deal with that breed too much. I don't think they're as popular now as a breed. As you kind of see if you're watching anything online, there's usually a hot breed of the year or a couple year gap. So I haven't really dealt with too many Dobermans. Number 2 on the list is Pit Bull. Now that's going to be pretty common just because of the reputation that Pit Bulls have. It doesn't really balance out with the stories that happen every single day. Yes, I do deal with a lot of Pit Bulls that do attack people, attack other animals. But most of the time, I don't really get the storybook on the news pit bull story all the time. I have had a couple, but most of the time it's that breed mixed in with Huskies and Malamutes and Shepherds, anything that's a Shepherd mix. Those are the top 3 that if I'm going to give my recommendations of dogs you shouldn't have unless you are well versed in dealing with animals and dealing with dogs and understand animal and dog behavior. Those are 3 breeds that you should not have unless you know what you're doing. They all can make awesome pets, but the main big problem with those 3 breeds are they're all working dogs. Those dogs need to get out and work and do something. And let's be honest, the majority of us are pretty lazy and just want to have the dog just in the backyard or just around the house and figure that's it. Well, I think we all kind of learned with, the beer bug. Even everybody else, ourselves, will get a little stir crazy being locked up somewhere inside of a house and not being able to go out. Even if I have a big backyard. I hear that a lot. And you got to remember these animals, these specific breeds that I just mentioned. It's like, again, a Husky was bred and a Malamute was bred to pull a lot of weight inside of snow for hours and hours on end. And you just toss them in a backyard. And you're wondering why the dogs are going stir crazy and why they're not really socialized. Same thing with the pit bulls and the same thing with the shepherds. I mean, they're all working dogs. You got to get them out there. You got to walk them. You got to give them some sort of mental stimulation to do something. You got to give them a job. And the unexperienced owner that doesn't get that and just gets them just because they look cute or they look like a teddy bear when they're a puppy. And this also goes for the Malamutes too, anything that looks shepherd-ish. This is why we get the dogs that have the bad name, is because you just don't know what you're doing. So continuing on the article, Chow Chows are also on that list. Out of all the years I've been doing this, I haven't really dealt with too many Chow Chows, but I've only met one out of an entire career that's actually been nice. Every other Chow Chow has tried to bite me and attack me. I think it's the same thing of, it looks cute like a little teddy bear, so I'm going to get it, and then you don't know what you're doing with it, and you're not walking it and challenging it and getting it out exercising, and just throw it in your backyard, and all of a sudden I don't know why I have a dog that's really screwed up. The rest of the list we got here, so I started with Doberman, Pit Bull, Rottweiler, Chow Chow, wolf dogs, and wolf hybrids. Those dogs are actually not allowed here in California, so if we ever find them, they actually get seized. But since they are kind of mixed, you kind of got a lot of the wildlife in them and then the domestic animal, and you don't really know how they're going to act. So the other one too are Preso Canarios. Those are very huge and can be very aggressive and dangerous dogs just by the mere size and muscle power those things have. I think it was either that one or there's another one where people get these dogs and they were like bred to hunt like lions or bears, and you just want to bring it in your backyard because it looks cool because it's a big dog, but you don't know what you're doing. You just bought it because it was a big dog. Lastly on the list, Akita, German Shepherd, like I said, Husky, Malamute also on the list, and Mastiffs and the Bull Mastiffs. So again, just those, a lot of the breeds, a lot of times when I deal with the public, when it comes to those breeds read off, it's just they got the dogs because they just got the dog. They thought it looked cool, that they'd be cool if they were walking it down the street because it's so big and, or it looks so cute, but they have no idea what the heck they're doing with it. And that's why a lot of these dogs are on that list. If all these dogs were in the hands of people that understood what they were getting themselves into, we'd be fine. This list wouldn't even really exist. But unfortunately, people just get stuff off of visual looks and have no idea. The crazy part about reading this article, though, is that, yes, there are some areas that they did or do ban certain breeds. I know there was areas that didn't allow you to own any sort of pit bull or pit bull mix. If you had one, you'd have to, surrender it or get it out of the area. But one of the other things, too, is that there's the insurance board. They're saying how many more claims that they're getting. And here it says that they had in 2017 18,522 claims, according to the Insurance Information Institute. Ironically, the dog bite claims dropped in 2020. Gee, I wonder why, because no one was outside, down to 16,000. Well, that's still pretty high. So 16,991. But the average claim was about $50,000 per claim, which is, about right. So, and it says here that it did come close to about $80 million total for all the claims in that time frame. So, it is a tiny amount of what they deal with, but that's still something to kind of keep in mind when you're, a dog owner, you're a property owner, and you're, landlord and renting stuff out. You're a restaurant owner, and you're, allowing pets to come inside, and there's no reason for them to be there. This is something you do have to think about. Now, again, this is from Forbes, their advisor section. Pets, dogs are a huge responsibility. Not to mention the fact that, again, you got to take them to the vet. You got to feed them, you got to water them, you got to walk them, you got to walk them, and you got to walk them a lot and give them energy and give them something to do. You also do have the side that you don't really realize until I'm knocking at your door because the dog got out and attacked somebody. This also goes too because people that want to be nice and take the responsibility of someone's dog that they couldn't handle and take it upon themselves, that when you want to watch a dog for a friend just because you want to be nice, this is exactly what can happen to you. I've been to plenty of calls where the person was watching the dog for a friend. Their backyard was not suited for whatever that dog was. It got out and attacked somebody, and guess what? They're the ones going to deal with it. Because at the end, a lot of the times, the owner can really just, go by the wayside, but you're the one that I'm collecting all the info from because you're the one that was responsible for the dog during that time, and you failed to keep the dog contained. They're going to go after you. We'll do our own thing. There are dangerous dog laws that exist for people that allow the dogs to get out and attack people or attack other animals. So you do have that you can deal with. One of the biggest things is dealing with the financial cost of your niceness of watching a friend's dog. So I say all that to educate you all that, you know, you don't have myself or one of my colleagues out there because you didn't know, and then all of a sudden a couple months later you have a copy of my report with a summons to go to court because now you're being sued for like $50,000 for the damage that your dog did or your friend's dog did that you were watching. If you like these type of videos, watch this one here. Kind of follow along the lines of why you should really be a little bit more mindful of the dogs that you keep at your house. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks.